Hello everyone, this is the Androdal, aka the German Viking, and I've come across a dispute, or well, whatever you would call it, on Twitter, and I found this most interesting from Lucy O'Brien from IGN, who I, at least one time in the past, have seen having some, should you say, ethically questionable actions, and now I've come across yet another one. So I'm gonna link them in the description below. I believe we need to keep examining violence in video games, not through the lens of censorship, but through the lens of context. That's why pieces like John's are important. And then she says, "Oh no, I'm engaging with a quartering." Then let's proceed with the context between the conversation between those two. We still want to censor your video games, but we just want to call it context. That's the quartering saying this. And Lucy responds with, "I don't want to censor jack shit. But you know that, and you cling to that word because your outrage keeps you warm at night." And quartering responds, "You are literally sharing an article demanding content to be removed from a video game because of reasons." Now he has a screenshot, and she responds with, "When someone in your life says, hey, maybe you could have considered your portrayal of this in a different way, do you scream censor at them? Because I imagine you do, and I imagine you don't have many close people around you because of it." Wow. So you insult a guy criticizing your tweet and take. That's awesome. That's when they result to ad hominems. That's when you know they don't have any argument. So let's actually read this article and see if it's actually context she's talking about. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and the cruel realities of white phosphorus. Our opinion, incendiary weapons can be used effectively in games, but the context is important. Why is it important? There are nukes in Modern Warfare. Why did you care? Didn't you care about that? You had Spec Ops. You didn't say anything then. Whereas particularly ubiquitous in video games, from the original Metal Gear to Battlefield Bad Companies to Spec Ops: The Line. Oh, so you actually do manage to Spec Up the Line. It has become one of the most popular backdrops for a long line of video games and the de facto setting for online multiplayer. It makes sense, after all. Video games are so often about conflict resolution, and what type of conflict is more recognizable than war? And there's no more recognizable name in war games than Call of Duty. Okay, that's an opinion again, not an assertion and a claim. But I mean, you could have backed it up with some numbers, but that's probably me just nitpicking. So let's continue the article. Since the first game was released in 2003, Call of Duty has grown from a singular game about World War II into one of the most popular franchises in the world. COD has dropped players into the battlefields ranging from occupied France in the 1940s and the mid-2000s Middle East, the front line of the White House, and even outer space. Players rescued hostages, conducted Black Ops missions, fought in the Battle of Bulge, and stopped nuclear weapons from striking the continental United States. So the series has basically gone everywhere and has had nukes, and you've shot people, you've done the airport massacre, but this draws the line. Isn't art? People always claim that games are art and they should be depicting difficult topics and be political all the time. Yet when they do, you complain. This year, Infinity Ward is rebooting Modern Warfare series, aiming to make its campaign more realistic. IGN has seen an extended demo of the single-player campaign when it was first revealed, and gone hands-on with its multiplayer component, including its traditional match styles, as well as the new gunfight and realism mode. It's here, especially in consideration of realism, that I feel the development team has made a problematic choice in its online mode. It uses white phosphorus as a kill streak ward. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. You could drop a nuke and kill everyone on the map. This is moral relativism at its finest. Just you could you even dropped napalm, and if I remember, Black Ops 1. Wasn't that a problem? No. Jesus freaking Christ. These people right here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. To understand why I think the use of white phosphorus is a problem, we need to talk about war, real war, not the stuff of game. Why? It's a game. Oh my god, it's a game, and you want to compare it to real war. You're using the same arguments as Trump and all the Republicans, Jack Thompsons, are doing, and comparing games to real life. What is wrong with you? I am a former U.S. Marine. I completed 5-year enlistment, which included multiple deployments in 2 different theaters of war in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. I've served multinational environments, bantered with Iraqi merchant. What does this have to do with the game? Seriously, mate. This is just a block of how great you are. This is narcissism, in my opinion. And dined with Pashtun farmers. I walked patrols through Karma, driven through the Asbin Valley, manned a 2-4G in Mahummadaya, and ran for cover in Kandahar. I watched rounds impact a foot away from me and fallen asleep with the knowledge a rocket might kill me before I wake. I was wounded in action in May 2004 in Fallujah. I've seen things I can hardly believe. I've names I'll be looking for whenever we get around to building some memorials. Regardless of the rationale behind the variety of wars throughout history, there's one commonality they all share. They are all tragedy. Again, what does this have to do with the game? As a Marine, I tried my best to conduct myself as a humane and professional warrior. No matter who you fought, your job is to kill the enemy. People were trying to kill me, and I, in turn, was trying to kill them. But I also had no desire for anyone to suffer needlessly. I believe in the laws of war. The battlefield is hellish enough with us already trying to our hardest to kill one another. Adherence to the accepted international rules of combat prevent unnecessary suffering, provide guidelines for a proportional response. So, well, that's really ironic coming from a U.S. Marine that don't follow Geneva Convention of personnel mines. So this is fucking hypocrisy coming from him. And the fine human treatment of prisoners of war. Yeah, again, that's coming. It's really fucking ironic coming from this guy, where U.S. has waterboarded and tortured prisoners. I'm just, if we're gonna go there, let's go there. There are 2 realities in war. If you're coming home alive, you're coming in a box, period. But one of the absolute worst ways to go is being struck by an incendiary weapon. And if you're hit with an incendiary weapon containing white phosphorus, it's even worse. Your end will be slow, agonizing, and torturous. But just what is white phosphorus? Why do I feel so strongly about it? Why do I think specifics around its inclusion in modern warfare is misplaced? I don't object to things like white phosphorus being examined in games so long as we depict them as they truly are. Why? Why? You're literally dictating the developer what is acceptable and not, because you served as a Marine. I don't care. White phosphorus is a material created from chemical element phosphorus, which is used in everyday items ranging from matchbooks to fertilizer, but for the purposes of this article, we'll focus on its use of incendiary weapons, munitions armed with white phosphorus are also used marking targets and screening movement, but even when not used offensively, the results are the same. A white phosphorus weapon detonates, particles stick to the skin and catch fire. The adhesive nature to these particles makes stopping the fires particularly difficult, and they continue burn until deprived of oxygen or consumed, making them among the deadliest incendiary weapons in existence. And it doesn't stop there. Your skin is melting and bubbling. The chemical is absorbed into the body through the burn itself, causing extensive damage to your liver and kidneys, eventually resulting in total organ failure. Yeah, but again, What does this have to do with the game? Seriously, what does this have to do with the game? Use of white phosphorus is heavily regulated by international laws. The same provisions of the Geneva Convention that prohibit use of the incendiary weapons against or near civilian areas also applies to white phosphorus. There's no rule or law against its use in targeting military installations or personnel, but many consider it to be unacceptable and or a war crime. Many people have decried its use against insurgency in Iraq, both a real potential for causing civilian casualties, but political. Again, what does this have to do? Why are you still droning on about this being a problem in a game? Politically, a potential narrative that could be used against us through propaganda. Okay, so what? The US military itself is split on its use. According to the Field of Manual on the Rule of Land Warfare, the use of these weapons doesn't technically violate international law. However, the ST-13 battle book used to the US Command and General Staff College. Okay, this is just... Jesus Christ. Let's just jump ahead, because this is just garbage. I believe it's perfectly fine to weave a serious narrative about a war in video games, but I find Modern Warfare's use as a kill trigger reward a near-sighted glorification of what myself others consider to be a violation of laws of armed conflict. Oh my god. It's a game. Holy crap. Contrary to their overall goals towards realism in its campaign, the multiplayer mode in COD doesn't depict the effect of white phosphorus has on the human body in any kind of realistic way. Yeah, because it's a game. It's supposed to be fun, you moron. The developer's statement in response to the controversial choice to include the weapon actually cited this as a defense. In real life, but this isn't real life. You don't take mild damage and stagger away, coughing with impaired vision. You scream in agony as you slowly melt while your organs systematically shut down. Yeah, but this is a game. I don't object to things like phosphorus being examined in games, so long as we depict them as they truly are. What? That's your opinion. Developers can do whatever they want. Why aren't you going against the movies as well? A means of causing an extremely painful, slow, and unnecessarily horrific end to a human life. Other kill trigger rewards such as UAVs, vehicles, radars, and missile strikes are commonplace on the battlefield. Yeah, but they end in the same end. You kill someone. This is such moral relativism. So, this is somehow bad, but everything else, that's okay. You can blow someone to hell with missiles and headshots and knives and everything else. But use white phosphorus, this has to be depicted because you think so. That's... oh my god. As a soldier myself, I mean, that's why I was gone a few days, because I had to be called up into the military again. I honestly don't give a crap when it comes to games. The developer should do whatever they want to. If they want to make it realistic, make it as realistic as you want. Make it fun. Don't give me this moral relativism bullshit where you want it to be depicted realistically in a game when a game is supposed to be fun, and you drone on about politics and propaganda. The COD has yet to really take a political stand when it comes to real life politics. Yes, military weapons like gunships and airstrikes are designed to kill, but those are traditional weapons of war and not designed to cause undue suffering. And their depiction as what is napalm them? Depiction as portrayed in Modern Warfare is more or less accurate, but the visceral horror of white phosphorus is completely lost in multiplayer. Who cares? Civilian collateral damage isn't part of the equation there. Your KD ratio is... yeah, because it's a game. Oh my god. If you want to tell a story about the horrors of warfare, frenetic multiplayer isn't the place to do. Yeah, there is already a game for that. It's called Spec Ops. Go play that. Talk about that game. especially with the one more controversial weapons out there. I don't believe something as legally and morally questionable. Oh my god. As white phosphorus is appropriate in the very specific way Infinity Ward is applying it here. As someone who has seen it firsthand what can happen to the human body in combat, I wish Infinity Ward would give this one bit more consideration. This is... Jesus Christ. Let's read the top comment here. I'm amazed but not surprised by the ignorant comments already streaming here. As a fellow veteran, I appreciate the fact that you took the time to address this. All these sofa warriors think is kill, kill, kill. But if they actually knew what real war was like, yeah, but this isn't real war. This is such a straw man. The red herring. It hasn't got any... What? Oh my god. They'd understand the difference between kill or be killed and torture. White phosphorus is probably the most torturous mechanism of death, and nobody deserves that. And to those who say, well, what about a nuke? Death is instantaneous, and no, it's not. Tell that to all the people who died of radiation. And it's far cry from being slowly burned and disintegrated from the inside. Yeah, same can be said about napalm. So... this is such garbage. Wow. I can't even with IGN anymore. And for Lucy to go on Twitter and saying, oh, we need context. This guy is basically saying you're not allowed to use this. You should only depict this when it comes to real life and how it is there. Otherwise, you're not allowed. And Lucy is basically... you should do this. Listen to this guy. Basically, moral or what should I say? Appeal to authority is basically what she's doing here. And I repeat again, I don't believe something as legally and morally questionable as white phosphorus is appropriate in the very specific way Infinity War is applying it here. As someone who's seen firsthand what can happen to the human body in combat, I wish Infinity War would give this one bit more consideration. Go screw yourself, this censorious, morally superior, moral relativist. This is a goddamn game that's supposed to be fun. If it takes elements from the real world, so freaking what? I'm just angry about this fact. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.